here is now the 7 keys to a successful outcome. And this is now how I'm going to get you to actually work with each other, and you're going to go essentially through this this model. So this is also called well-formed outcomes model. It's another way to frame it. So first of all, we want to positively state something. The next thing we want to do is make sure that we've got a compelling outcome. Compelling just means that you want to do it. Then we want to get feedback and evidence of when we do it, what happens. Then we want to get some outcome procedure. So we want to measure, know how to measure where they are in the loop. And then we want to find out where they control it and where they don't control it. What resources are required in order to achieve the outcome. And finally, an ecology check. What happens when they get it? So this just gives you a basic idea of what it is big picture. But now I'm going to go into the very detail of this. So this is what it is. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sit with our client and we're going to state your outcome in the positive. What specifically do you want? This is the most important question you can be asked in your life. What specifically do you want? So if you find that the outcome is a not outcome, such as, I don't want that shit to happen in my life anymore, you ask, so what do you want instead? Which is a nice frame to get them out of the crappy way of thinking into a more positively stated way of thinking. So you say, what do you want instead? You know, I don't want to be anxious anymore, so what do you want instead? I want to be calm, in control, feeling good. Excellent. So that's the first question. So you just sit there and you'll say, okay, so what do you want? And you're working with your client to find out what that actually is. And you'll just take notes. By the way, the client can take notes too. And I often recommend that when I'm coaching that they do. So that's the very first point. So that's finding out what is their outcome. And there's 7 of these. So the next is determine the outcome you desire with all your senses. What will you hear, feel, see, and say to yourself when you have it? So what will you feel? What will you hear? What will you see? What will you say to yourself? Well, what you're doing right now is you're building a VAKAD. When you can completely see your goal, feel your goal, know your goal completely, hear it, the whole shebang, it makes much more sense, and that means your goal is more clearly stated. And it becomes more compelling. So you're creating a compelling outcome. So for example, that picture that I spoke of, Wembley Stadium, I still look at that picture and I feel a feeling in my body. It still feels good to be in that moment. As if now, you are here in July, whatever the date is, and you say, by August 29, I am running my first coaching session. You know, I'm actually working with a client. That's my goal. So what does it look like? I'm in a session. I see the person on the screen. They've got a smile on their face. I'm progressing them. I can hear them sounding really positive, really uplifted. How good do you feel when you're doing that? Awesome. I've actually got it happening. This is my first client. It's working. Awesome. So can you see how clear that is? So as if now. So that means they are actually doing the thing that they really, really want. Put it in your future as a disassociated image. So you say, okay, you tell me. What does that mean? What are we doing?
So you're seeing yourself in the image.
Yeah. So you say, okay, I can see myself. There I am. I can see myself. So that's what a disassociated image is. So that's the second point. So they've said what their goal is. Now they've got a full picture of it. And it's got sounds, it's got feelings, it's got all sorts of associated VAKAD to it. So you're really clear on what it actually looks like. So here is how this is really important. Someone says, I want to be happy. You say, okay, so tell me, what will you hear, feel, see, say to yourself when you're happy? Now they've got to come up with some idea, such as, I am on a yacht in the Caribbean. I am sailing. I can hear the water and I can feel the feeling of being free, on a yacht on the Caribbean. Does that make sense? But if they go, I don't know, they'll never be happy because they don't know what it looks like, feels like, it sounds like.
It's chunked up as well, isn't it?
It is. It's chunked
so you
up.
have to break it down.
Yeah, absolutely. So see it through the universe's eyes. This is my little addition. Now, I feel that the work that I do is for good cause. So let's call it a spiritual perspective. I feel that every time I coach, every time I teach, every time I talk, every time I write a book, I'm adding to the value of the world. So I think if you have, remember the hierarchy of ideas? So basically what we do is we chunk things up, but remember when we spoke about Dilt's work, when we started looking at environment and we went right up to spirituality or purpose. If you can get a person to believe that their goal actually is not just valuable to them, but it's valuable to the world at large, or it's God's work, or it's the universe's work, or something like that, then it gives them purpose. It actually creates a really powerful mechanism inside a person that will do the work. It wasn't taught to me to add this element. I'm just adding it now. If you feel it appropriate, add it. So if a person goes, yeah, this is my purpose, this is my high level purpose, then I'll do the work.
Oh, that stopped making sense to me because I want to help the needy as the universal purpose, not like a just self-gratifying stuff. So what I'm now understanding from this last sentence is that like I can do this in a commercial way, but with a greater objective of helping the universe as God's will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. And that gives you purpose, that gives you meaning.
Yeah.
Compelling one.
Now it does.
Yeah, it gives you a compelling why.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Oh, now
Yeah,
it
you
does.
get it. You get it. So that's the second point. So now we're focusing very much on the goal. We're really building the goal, building meaning, creating pictures. So it's getting really clear, we're clarifying. Now what we need to do is we need to work out what is the evidence procedure. Evidence procedure is just how do we know that we're moving forward? How do we know? Sometimes goals are set so far in the future that it's really difficult to know if we're progressing. For example, I was talking to Nat, during the break, and without sharing full detail about what we were talking about, Nat said, I've got this goal. And so I then started asking her questions along the lines of this point. She knew what a goal is, she knows what a goal is, but what I want to see is I want to see some evidence procedure. How does she know when she's moving? How does she know when she's moving towards her goal? So what we want is how will you know when you have it? Or if it's a long-term goal, how will you know you're even progressing toward it? What do you need to see? What do you need to experience? So it keeps you on track to success, and it determines the signal that tells you that you're on the, whoops, I've come back again. But basically, the most important thing about this is that we need to know that we're moving forward. And typically, you're working with your client to build steps. Let's talk about coaching, okay? Some of you want to create a coaching business. So then you say, okay, so what is the very first step? What is it? I mean, what do you think it is? What's the very next thing you think you need to do?
Plan to talk.
Could be plan and talk. But I think there's a step even before that. Like, how much are you going to charge? Yeah, going back to our lunchtime chat. Choosing what lifestyle you want to live might be a really good place to start. and then say that's the lifestyle that I want to live. So therefore that might predicate your packages. You might go, actually, all I really want is 5 clients. You know, just 5 clients at $10,000 each. That's all. Or I want 10 clients at $2,500 each. And that's all. You don't have to go for the $1 million mark. $1 million has no meaning, has no purpose, unless you've got a reason for it. You know, because you want to invest and grow a business, or you've got a property you want to purchase, or I don't know. Don't go chasing $1 million. Why? You know, don't go chasing $500,000. Create purpose, create reason. If you want to buy a property, or you want to build a business, or you've got some sort of dream and it's got $1 million attached to it, well then sure, there's purpose and reason. But $1 million, I mean, money is overestimated. You know, the value of what you get when you make a lot of money. It really is. I've seen a lot of people, you know, dig out their own souls, you know, just to create money.
And fill up the houses.
And fill up their houses with crap. So it's not all about money. So specify the evidence procedure, how you know when you have it, keeps you on track, and determines the signal that tells you you're on the way. So you want to say, okay, so if you're going to build your coaching business, this is your goal. That's ultimately, you know, I want to live in France. That's what I want to do. I want to live in France. I want to have a little chateau somewhere, and I want to coach from my balcony. You know, maybe in Florence or somewhere like, or in Italy. You know, and that's what I want. And so you say, okay, so what do you need in order to make that happen? You know, okay, well what I need is I know that I've got to start coaching. So, okay, so what's the first step? I've got to work out my package. Okay, let's work out your package then. Okay, done. What's next? I've got to work out, I've got to build a website. You don't have to, by the way, but if you think that that's important, then you build a website. Okay, cool. So, how else? What's next? And so all you're doing is building this sequence and this pattern, and then they know when they've done that, yeah, tick, they're progressing. When they've done that, tick, progressing. Done that, tick, progressing. And so what you're going to get is a person who knows, I'm actually here, my goal's right there, I'm getting damn close. Does this all make sense so far? The fourth point, is it appropriately contextualized? What will this outcome cause for you or allow you to do? So this is your outcome, what will that cause for you to have or do? So it helps determine the gains from achieving your goal, and also helps realize whether it's suitable to have this outcome in the situations you desire. For example, I didn't do this step when I was building Life Beyond Limits at first. I wanted everything, and I got everything. And then I realized I didn't want everything because I was busy. I had no life. You know, I was off doing trainings at weekends, coaching in the evenings, coaching during the day, going off and doing talks, sometimes doing workshops, you know, jumping on planes. And I realized I was coming back from Sydney. I had to go and do a talk in Sydney. I was working a really full week. Jumped on a plane, took off to Sydney. I get in a cab, pay the cab driver more to get me there fast. I get there fast, and then, you know, I raced in the room, and Paul Dunn was the guy who was, you know, running the event, and he sees me come in and he says, and our speaker for tonight is Rick Schwabel. Can we create a huge round of applause? You know, hey! I come up, and I've just jumped out of a plane, jumped out of a cab, and here I am. Welcome everyone. What I want to talk about tonight is da 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 da. And then I remember being in the plane on the way home. So I had to, you know, see you later, Paul. Thank you very much. Off you go. Jump in a cab, jump in a plane, and I'm in the plane, and I remember the air crew were in front of me there, and I wake up, and this lady says, "You look so tired." And she said, "You should thank the people on either side. You've rested on her shoulder, and you had a zuz on his shoulder." I said, "Oh, thank you. And I laughed. And I went, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this life anymore. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. And I go home to my wife. How are you, sweetie? I am tired. Just give me a cuddle. I need nurturing. And so I got everything I wanted, but I realized I didn't want it all. So you've got to understand that, it's appropriately contextualized. Well, when I appropriately contextualized my goal in the context of my family, I was serving everybody else. I wasn't serving my family. I had a young family at this point. You want to see your kids grow up. You don't want to be the invisible guy or the invisible woman, who just everyone knows about, the myth, that they see in the family album. You want to be the person who actually is in their life. So structure your goal to make sure it meets your lifestyle too. So is it self-initiated, self-maintained, and can you set this goal in motion and sustain it yourself? So if you don't, there's got to be some resources that you need. So you cannot control others or things outside of you except by changing yourself. Make sure that you are the cause of this outcome. So in some cases, as you're building a goal, sometimes you realise that there are other people involved. That you can't make this goal a reality unless you bring other people into play. So that's what this really does. It says, what can you do about this? So the next point is what resources are needed, because the point before can often bring that up. Actually, I can't do this on my own. So for example, if you wanted to coach and you were not in this room yet, you might be working with your coach and saying, okay, so can you maintain this yourself? And you say, well, yeah, I can, but I don't know how to coach yet. You go, okay, so you've got to learn how to coach. So you've got to find a trainer or a course or something. You go, okay, cool. That's part of the checklist. I've got to find that. So then you've got to find me, or you've got to find someone else, and you've got to learn actually how to coach. So tick, you've already done that, awesome. But equally, further down the track, not now, but somewhere down the track, and I don't mean in a moment, you're going to need some other people to help you, like key people of influence and so forth. But that might happen further down the track somewhere. But your coaching brings all this up. What do you need? What other resources are needed? Have you achieved this or similar outcome before? Or do you know someone else who has? This might bring up that you need a mentor, or you need a coach, or you need some other training or something else to really help you achieve this. So to achieve anything in life, we need resources. Do you know what resources you need and how to access them? This is the point that a lot of people stop. Because they go, I don't know what to do. I really don't know. I know what I want, but I don't know what to do. And that's often where books, mentors, training, coaching, others need to be involved so you can work out what to do. Then the final point, is it ecological? So now you're at the final point where, okay, this is your goal, is it ecological? Meaning, what will happen if you achieve it? So what happens if you achieve it? You really got to try this on. You've got to say, this is my life now. In this context, I am now a coach. I'm now coaching. Will it be good for you? And you could say, yeah, it would be great for me. Well, will it be good for others? Will it be good for your family? Will it be good for your spouse? Will it be good for your partner? Will it be good for other people around you? Actually, it won't. This goal won't be good for them. I want to live in Florence. They don't want to live anywhere close to there. Oh my God, we've got a problem now. Yeah, so you've got to resolve that. Will it be good for the planet as a whole? And it's an important question. Will what you're doing be good for the planet as a whole? So that's the final point, is it ecological? So I'm going to turn this into a 60-minute exercise, both ways. So what I want you to do is choose a goal and run through the 7 keys of successful outcome. And I want you to buddy up. So there'll be 2 people, And what you'll be doing is, just open that manual to that page and you grab your notepad and start working with a buddy and then go through all of these points. But I know we've had a break, but if you want and feel that you want another break, feel free to do whatever you want. You can go anywhere that you want. If you want to, go, hey, let's do cafe coaching. Go over, grab yourself a coffee or tea or whatever, and sit opposite one another and go through this model. Or if you want to work in this room or outside or wherever you like. But what I want you to do is I want you to set your watch to this or set your phone or whatever. Get to do this in exactly an hour. That's going to train your brain to go, right, this is a coaching session. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to work to do this in an hour. So there is no script with this. This is just your own languaging skills. Just simply go, okay, so you'll see step one, what is your outcome? And your client will go, oh, I don't know what I really want. You go, okay, well, let's work it out. What's important to you? What's important to you? What do you really, really want? Or, come on, we're in this course together. We could create an amazing outcome. Choose something big, choose something bold, choose something grand, and let me help you to achieve it. And then just go through all of the steps. So really the client wants to be taking most of the notes here. Because after all, the client is the one that wants it, don't they?